these my shoes? That was fast. I ordered these yesterday. That's dope. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Yesterday, November 11th, was a big day here in China, known as Singles Day, 11/11. Get it? It's China's version of Cyber Monday, but its revenue is huge. Last year, the record was $17.8 billion spent in one day, 24 hours. That's insane. To give you an idea of how big of a number that is, take the 76 countries with the smallest economies. Their annual GDP doesn't even come close to the money made, the money spent in one day here in China. Or let's talk about a bigger country, Brazil. Their annual e-commerce sales doesn't even come close to the one day here in China on Singles Day. That's just mind-blowing. And to top it all off, this year is predicted to crush this number, so make sure to stay tuned to the end of this video and I will reveal those numbers. This day started with university students kind of just making fun of the fact that they were single and had no boyfriends, and that's what sparked this whole Singles Day holiday, and that's why it's on November 11th, because all the ones are representing loneliness essentially, and companies took advantage of this and started selling products for as little as 1 kwai to kind of get this massive consumerism started. Speaking of this, I'm about to pick up a package that I just ordered right now. I'm not single, but still nice to have things. So this is the problem when you don't speak Chinese and when you get messages that you don't know what it's saying, and I know I have a package in this box, but I can't get it, so now I have to go try to find someone who speaks English or direct me to where it is. Ni hao. This is there?
A 做联邦，是这个。
There?
那我就没办法了。
So it doesn't work, no?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know.
谢谢. I think I was too late on getting the package, so it's gone. Now I'm going home. Let's talk about what is driving this insane income in one day. And the answer is Alibaba. Alibaba is China's biggest online commerce company. In fact, one could argue that it's the biggest in the world. Alibaba owns 3 main companies. Taobao, which I like to refer to as China's version of Amazon. Tmall, which is online sales of branded goods. And number 3, Alibaba.com, which connects Chinese exports with other companies around the world. Apart from these major 3 companies, they also own Alipay. Alipay is China's equivalent of PayPal, for example. And then they have large stakes in companies like Sina Weibo, which is Chinese equivalent of Twitter, and then Youku Todu, which is Chinese equivalent of YouTube. Now, let's first talk about how big a market is China. Of course, I think a lot of us know China is a huge market, but let's talk about just Alibaba. Alibaba surpassed 3 trillion yuan. That's like $463 billion in 1 year in 2016. According to Wall Street Journal, that's more than eBay and Amazon combined. On average, Alibaba has 170 million transactions per day. That's crazy! Now let's talk about the founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, because he has a really interesting and inspiring story. So basically, he's a guy who came from nothing. He was dirt poor here in China from the town of Hangzhou, which is in southeastern China. And here in China, it's very difficult to make it anywhere or to build a company like this when you don't have money, when you don't come from money, or if you don't have connections to government or somebody in power. And he is now the richest man in China. He is no longer the CEO of Alibaba, but he still does own 8%. And while that might not seem like a big number, that's a huge number here in China. And he still has a lot of influence over the company. What's really cool though is that he is essentially proving that an entrepreneur can succeed in a communist society, in a place where the government technically at any point can centralize and can take over the company, and yet he has succeeded as an entrepreneur, and that is remarkable. Let's talk about what are some of the things he did differently with this company, and maybe we can reason why this company has succeeded and has blown up. There is no fee to list your items on the site. It's completely free. So if you want to put up a listing, if you want to sell something, you can put it on Alibaba and it's free. The only thing you paid for is advertising. Versus a company like eBay, you have to pay to put your stuff online, but then you don't pay for advertising. So it's just a different approach. Then we have Alipay, which I've already mentioned is essentially China's equivalent of PayPal. From the moment that you start to buy a product, you have communication back and forth from start to finish with the buyer, with the seller, and so it creates this trust, and clearly it's worked. You can buy literally anything you can think of off of Alibaba. You can buy a house, you can buy an architect if you want to build the house, you could buy a doorknob, you can buy anything. And what's really cool is anyone has the access to sell something, and that was his whole vision, his whole motivation, is he wanted to make it possible for ordinary people, for people who don't have access, and to give them the opportunity to make it so that everybody has the chance to sell something, to make a business, to have a job. And he has employed millions of people to have jobs. In light of Alibaba's success, there is the Global Shopping Festival, Singles Day, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, that happens every November 11th, and it's a crazy day. I'm actually so stoked right now because I got a message. I usually get these messages all the time on my phone and I have no idea what they mean, but this time it says 1111, which I know means Singles Day. I don't know what else it's saying, but I know something, and that's kind of cool. It's so big that Alibaba even throws a launch party with a countdown timer to midnight, basically Times Square style New York. It's crazy. And then next to it has all the numbers flashing of how much revenue they're making every second. And that's where I'm going to reveal at the end is how much they actually made here in 2017. Apart from the launch party, there's going to be a countdown gala where they're going to feature and headline different music artists. They're going to have a fashion show. Picture the Super Bowl halftime show, and they're doing something really similar for Singles Day, for just a day of buying items, a day of Cyber Monday. It's essentially one giant celebration of consumerism, massive consumerism. I really hope my landlord watches this video because we pretty much consistently pick up packages for them on a daily basis. So I'm gonna go pick up one for them right now. 你好. Okay, 谢谢. When you pick up packages, you get these text messages telling you which orange box to go look for, or green. And so we end up walking around our complex, around the neighborhood, searching for B, D, E, whatever it is, and then you have to figure out how to enter the code. One thing that we've learned is these machines are all written in Chinese characters, and obviously when we can't read them, we don't know which buttons to push, and so this has just been a guess and check process. We've learned over the past from getting packages so many times for our landlord that which buttons we need to click to hit the code. Sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes we'll end up asking people, and even then, there's been many times where we just couldn't get the package and then it got sent back because we couldn't figure out how to scan. Sometimes they make you scan it, sometimes they make you enter a code, and you know, sometimes we just couldn't get the package. That is our fault for not, you know, speaking Chinese, reading the Chinese characters, but other than that, it's usually a pretty simple process. Alright guys, just got the stats in for Alibaba's 2017 Singles Day event, and it's just completely ridiculous. In the first 3 minutes, they hit $1 billion worth of sales. In the first 15, they hit 5. In the first hour, they hit 10 billion. And then it only took 13 hours for them to pass the previous record of 2016 and hit $18.8 billion. Now we're at 24 hours and we're at $25.3 billion for 24 hours, one day of shopping. That is just insane. That is crazy and massive, 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 massive consumerism. What is going on? Like seriously, what the just happened in China? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe leave a comment of some of the great deals you got on Singles Day. That'd be cool. I just got these sweet shoes. Obviously not on Singles Day, but they were a pretty good deal. So anyways, remember to subscribe, and next week I will be posting a video giving an apartment tour of my place and a friend's to kind of give you a look into what an apartment can look like in China. So I'll see you then. Bye bye! I think it's shoes.